A lot of ingredients come and go, but our rhubarb keeps coming back season after season. So today, Paisley and I are going to take some from our very own garden and make strawberry rhubarb jam.
Stick with us and we'll show you how.
Rhubarb. What is rhubarb? Do you know what rhubarb is?
It's a sour type of plant.
Yes, so it is actually a vegetable. It is something that comes up at the very beginning of spring and leads us into summer. It comes with our strawberries, it comes with green things in our gardens. It is a quintessential flavor of my childhood growing up on a farm. It was something that we grew every season. The cool thing about the plant is once it goes in the ground, it comes back every single year. So ours is up in our garden, and that's what we're going to be using today. Paisley, you want to let everybody know what rhubarb tastes like?
It tastes sour and oniony.
It is related to sorrel. We've used sorrel in other episodes too. So it has flavors of very tart green apple. We actually just eat the stalk. We do not eat the roots, and we don't eat the leaves. It goes fantastic with sweet fruit. And what fruit is it best with, Paisley?
Strawberries.
Exactly. Strawberries bring some sweetness, they bring some floral notes, they bring all the beauty, dark red color, and the jamminess that we're looking for. And coupled with rhubarb, it is a very classic flavor. The sour, lemon, green apple, vegetal notes brought in by that rhubarb go perfectly together. So Paisley, we need to go harvest some more rhubarb now that we've tried a little bit. We're going to show our sous chefs how to harvest rhubarb if you've never done it before. From there, we're going to show you how to prep and prepare our strawberries and our rhubarb for making jam. And then we're going to move into the jam making process. We're going to show you how to cook it properly, how to temp it out properly, and make the perfect texture of your jam. From there, we're going to put it in jars, and we will have our finished product. So Paisley, you ready to go grab some rhubarb?
Yes.
All right, we'll meet you there. Our first step in making strawberry and rhubarb jam is to grab our rhubarb. If you're not growing rhubarb or you can't grow rhubarb where you are, completely fine. You can find this in your local farmers markets and sometimes at your grocery stores. Once we get to our plant, we need to cut the plant down to harvest the stalk. Again, we use only the stalk, so that's the big red stem that's holding up this big leaf, because that is the edible part. We're going to take and we're going to go all the way down. We're going to find the bottom of the plant. We're going to snip off the stalk just like this here, as Paisley's using a pair of kitchen shears. And then once we have that, we need to remove the leaf. Again, the leaf is not technically poisonous. It is just not good for us to eat due to the makeup of the oxalates in that leaf. So we're going to snip that off and we're going to just toss that back into our garden. That will become green compost to help the rest of our plants do what they need to do. We're going to take what we need and we're going to move back into the kitchen. Thanks for helping grab that, Paisley.
You're welcome.
The next step is prepping our ingredients. Our rhubarb, because it grows from the ground, we need to make sure that is rinsed and washed. We don't want any dirt or leaves or any bugs on that. From there, we're going to take and we're going to run a knife all the way through it. This just needs a little rough chop. The stem has a lot of fibers in it, kind of like celery, so kind of the stringiness of it. From there, we need to get our strawberries prepared. Now, we grabbed our strawberries from a local farmer's market because we are not actually growing strawberries currently in our garden beds. We need to wash them because they've been grown next to the ground. They're going to be full of sand and dirt, and Paisley even found some straw that they're growing into. Thank you for catching that. We don't want that in our jam.
Oh yeah.
So we're going to float them in water, and then we're going to remove them off into a strainer. You can see here just how much sand and debris was left. That would make an awful jam if any of that got in there. And then we're going to hull these. So that is the process of taking the top off. You're just literally going to use the paring knife blade edge, and you're going to pinch that top off. This wastes very little to no strawberry compared to the conventional method that most of us were taught growing up when you take just the top off like this here. We want to make sure that we're preserving as much of the fruit as possible because these cost money. We don't want to waste. Now that they're all hulled, we are ready to grab the rest of our ingredients. We need a little bit of lemon. We're going to use a whole fresh lemon here. We're going to use the zest and the juice. A little bit of salt. We need to always use some salt to do what now?
Balance the sweetness.
Exactly. And speaking of sweetness, we need some sugar. Now, in our house, we try to cut our sugar intake down by a little bit when we can. And in this case, jam is typically laden with copious amounts of sugar. So we're going to change that narrative. We're going to use half white sugar, and then we're going to use half monk fruit sweetener. We're going to move to our next step of bringing everything together and cooking the jam. So we're going to take our strawberries and we're going to pour those in. We're going to pour in our rhubarb. We're going to zest and juice our lemon. We're going to sprinkle just a little bit of salt. We're going to bring our sweeteners in as well. We're going to kick this on to a medium-high heat. And then we're going to actually lightly crush the fruit with the back of our wooden spoon here. We want some texture, we want some whole fruit, but we also want to break down some of the fruit to release the strawberry liquid that'll help dissolve the sugar and begin the process of cooking this jam. We need about 25 to 30 minutes or so of cook time. We want to make sure that we are stirring regularly so nothing sticks to the bottom. After about 25 to 30 minutes or so, this is where the jam, you're going to see it going from a very liquidy consistency to a much thicker and tighter consistency. This is also where we're going to start to use a thermometer to temp our jam. We are looking for a temperature of anywhere between 218 and 220 degrees Fahrenheit. Once we've reached that temperature, we're going to kick this off the heat and let it cool just a little bit while we prepare our jars. We've got some ball jars here. We're going to wash these with really hot soap and water. Make sure they're all rinsed out. And then we're going to fill the jars. We want to make sure that we're leaving just a little bit of headspace there, so that way everything has a chance to cool properly. And we're ready to go. We are going to keep a couple of these in our refrigerator for a couple of weeks as we need them for peanut butter and jellies, yogurt parfaits in the morning, as we might need them for a dessert here or there. And the rest of these, once they're cooled and lidded up, they're going to go into our freezer. These will last up to a year in our freezer. But we also know that they're not going to last that long because this stuff tastes phenomenal. Thank you, Paisley, for helping me pick the rhubarb and showing every one of our viewers how to do that.
You're welcome.
Thank you for sticking around too. We love you guys. We love making jam together, and we can't wait to make more with you. So until the next one, we'll see you.
Bye.